Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy Z Reels. Says ZTR back with another video, and I'm gonna make my Super Bowl predictions because we're finally here. And I just want to thank everybody for tuning in to my channel. Thank everybody for liking, commenting, and subscribing. I really do appreciate it. But tonight I'm gonna just make my pick, and before I make my pick, I'm just gonna run by some numbers because unlike most other channels, I do real research. I do legit numbers. I don't do nothing fake. Okay, I don't do gematria. I don't do none of that jazz. This is straight up real football from what I've been absorbing and what I've been watching. And I'm gonna say, man, this is a first time matchup. Okay, this is between two teams that have never ever actually faced each other before, and both teams are trying to win it for the first time. Where in the Rams' case, we all know that their last Super Bowl victory came in St. Louis, and that was in '99, 2000 against the Tennessee Titans. Okay, that was against Steve McNair, God rest his soul. You know, the great Eddie George and Derek Mason. And that was led by Kurt Warner, Isaac Bruce, and then you have Marshall Faulk. Okay? That was a great Rams team, but that was in St. Louis. They're in Los Angeles. They have home field advantage, just like the Buccaneers did last year. Okay, so, I mean, for them, like I said, they're trying to bring a brand new Lombardi trophy into that SoFi Stadium arena, which is beautiful. And then for the Bengals, now this is interesting. The Bengals are the third team in Super Bowl history. They go 9-7, and it's attempting to win. In the last 25 years, there's only three teams. We all know about the New York Giants with Eli Manning. The second one was with the Arizona Cardinals. That was Kurt Warner back then. But back in them days, he had Larry Fitzgerald. There was Anquan Bolden, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. And I forget who the defensive line was, but that was a great team. That Cardinals team was beast, but they was gonna beat the Steelers. That was Ben Roethlisberger's last Super Bowl victory. That was Mike Tomlin's first championship win as a head coach. That was back in 2008. But now the Bengals here, they're the third team. They go 9-7 to reach a Super Bowl. So that's very interesting. This is like their second Super Bowl appearance since '89. Okay, the Bengals have not won it at all. So Cincinnati's trying to bring their very first. They're one of 12 teams in the NFL still to this day without a ring. And so they're attempting to break that long losing streak of not winning anything. So right now I'm gonna break down some numbers for you. Right. So I'm reading from Pro Football Magazine, Ashland Sports. I'm just gonna read to you some the additions to their roster, who they added, because this is the roster who helped them get there, right? So in all season they picked up Ricardo Allen from Atlanta, Eli Apple from Carolina. You had Chidozie Azui from Dallas. I missed that dude. Me being a Cowboys fan. Then defensive end Trey Hickerson. You hit Dickerson from New Orleans. That was a great pickup. Cornerback Mike Hilton from Pittsburgh. Defensive tackle Larry Ogunjobi from Cleveland. And they had offensive tackle Riley Ratcliffe from Minnesota. But they lost. And then let me just break down this list of who they lost, because this is a very notable list. This is a very huge list. They lost their DB cornerback Mackenzie Alexander to Minnesota. Longtime defensive tackle Geno Atkins. Now, I believe Geno Atkins is a free agent, but I believe he's might have retired. Atkins been there for years. That's one guy I really do feel sorry for is Geno Atkins. I feel so sorry for that guy. He worked his whole career, and now the Bengals finally reached the Super Bowl without him. Then you have Giovanni Bernard, who went to the Buccaneers and just lost to the Rams. So you already know who he's going to be cheering for. They lost kicker Randy Bullock from Detroit. He wasn't really that much factor, but AJ Green, Arizona, another one, gone. He left. Offensive tackle Bobby Hart to Buffalo. William Jackson III to Washington. They also lost defensive man Carl Lawson to the New York Jets. Then the homie John Ross III to the New York Giants. Again, shouts out to John Ross. It would have been nice to have a Jordan Panther represent the Super Bowl with this Bengals team. Again, John Ross second is like the second football player in Jordan high school history to have been drafted or played in the NFL, just like John Timu. Now, Timu is coach for the Chargers. His career kind of already ended a couple of seasons ago, but John Ross, again, I feel very sorry for that brother. He left, and now look what happened. And then they lost safety Sean Williams. So again, y'all, they lost way more guys than they did than they added. Okay? So people need to stop saying the league is scripted, all this rigged stuff. That's just football. The Bengals have lost a significant amount of guys, but they was able to make it work. Now, in a 5-year trend, 2016 they only won 6 games. In 2017 they only won 7. 2018 6. 2019 only 2 games. They were 2-14. And last year they only won 4 games. I was like 4-12. Yeah, they lost like 12, 13 games. Like yeah, they lost 11 games, 11-1. 4-11-1 last year. Okay? So this is a team that's came a very, very long way, especially since after Marvin Lewis left. From what I'm reading. Because you got to give Zach Taylor a lot of credit. And his record with the team until now, he was 6-25-1. So he hasn't been there that long. I think Zach Taylor's only been there like a few seasons. This is like his 3rd or 4th season. But this is a major improvement for where they've been at. Now, I'm gonna run you some numbers to know. 208. The Bengals have had just 1 game with more than 208 passing yards after Joe Burrow's season-ending injury in Week 11. Again, Joe Burrow was injured last year. Okay, it was rough for him. He had a very rough rookie year. Yeah, last year was his rookie year. And then 2000, the Bengals have allowed opponents to rush for over 2,000 yards against them in every season since 2017. Again, major improvement. Zach Taylor has really stepped his game up as a coach, better than Marvin Lewis. 36.2. Cincinnati converted just 36.2% of 3rd down attempts last year, the 3rd lowest in the NFL. So I'm just reading to y'all where they came from. All right? Zach Taylor has proven to be like the 2nd best coach in NFL history as far as the Bengals is concerned. That man has done way more than Marvin Lewis has done in the 20 years Marvin Lewis has been there. Because even Geno Atkins represents the last of him and AJ Green. That's the last of who Marvin Lewis had drafted. And now look what happened. Jamar Chase from LSU. That was Joe. That was matter of fact, that was Joe Burrow's that was his receiver. Now you see why they drafted Chase. Because Joe Burrow was able to win the Heisman Trophy and win a national championship defeating Clemson with Jamar Chase. That's chemistry. Okay? That's why they tanked the way they did. That's why you trust the process. Okay? Now, tanking does help. It helps a lot. Now, I'm going to read Scouting of the Bengals. Because this is what the Rams are going to be actually looking into. Okay? And it says, Joe Burrow is getting ready for a comeback. Which he did. Joe Burrow clearly came back. This is the best comeback he's been. This is like the best comeback. After what happened last year, and you go from 4-11, and then you go 9-7, go to a Super Bowl, that's a major comeback. And the offensive line in front of him that's supposed to protect him is just average. I would be petrified if I'm Mike Brown. Given the state of their offensive line, I would have drafted Penei Sewell instead of Jamar Chase, which we know that's not the case anymore. Jamar Chase turned out to be the best receiver they have drafted since Ocho Cinco. They'd have had enough wide receivers already with T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. Before Burrow tore his ACL, he showed me a lot as far as accuracy, leadership, and overall understanding of the game. I think he has a bright future. Joe Mixon is a phenomenal talent. No, Mixon, that's another Marvin Lewis guy. Mixon stayed. This is what happens when you stay loyal to a franchise. You just work your behind off. Mixon worked hard to be here. Joe Mixon, if anything, again, that was Geno Atkins' teammate. That was Devonta Pecco's teammate. And Ray Maluga. Mixon been there for years. Again, Joe Mixon, if anything, deserves to be in the Super Bowl. I'm just keeping it honest. That guy earned it. That's a guy people should be talking about when they discuss second chances. DJ Reader's return is big for them. He can flat out play. I like Trey Dickerson when he was in New Orleans. But that was around a bunch of other solid guys on the defense. Here, he's going to be the first guy to get chipped and double teamed. I predict it will be an eye opener for him. I like their linebackers. They're not great, but they're solid football players. I like Trey Waynes. I don't like Von Bell much. He's a stiff, straight line guy. Jesse Bates III has a lot of range. Eli Apple, despite being a bit different and bouncing around the league, he's a good football player. Which, by the way, Eli Apple was Eli Manning's teammate, ex-teammate. I think he was the last of the Tom Coughlin Giants in McAdoo. I can see Ricardo Allen earning a starting job, which he did. He's not very tall, but he has a good range and playmaking skills. So that's the scouting report on the Bengals. Now we're gonna go all the way to the Rams. Give me 1 second. This is how I make predictions. I read magazine. I read reading material. Okay, so can't nobody say I don't know my football. Right? I read some on rosters. I don't just take these analysts' word for it. A prediction is just a prediction. All right. Now let's go to the Rams. Last year they finished with a 10-6 record, which is still not bad. It's decent, just ain't bad. And that was with Jared Goff. The last time he was there. Now I'm gonna read to you most notably, because the Rams are very interesting. Because this is another team like the Bengals who lost way more guys than they did signing. Okay. Yes, they did pick up Von Miller and ODB, but they had to trade for those guys. But let's just read. Let me just read this real quick. Let's look at the player movement. So this is what they did in the off season leading up to this. Now, of course, they added Matt Stafford. That was a trade. They traded Jared Goff for Matt Stafford. Again, Matt Stafford is the second, in the second Rams quarterback besides Goff in the last 5 years to reach a Super Bowl. Kurt Warner, we all know about him. He took the Rams to 4. Well, no, excuse me, 2. Yeah, this is the 4th Super Bowl the Rams have been in the last 20 years. So Kurt Warner led them to 2. And then you have Jared Goff and Matt Stafford 1. And then there's a quarterback in, I believe, 89. I can't think of his name, but they've had at least 5 quarterbacks that took this team to a Super Bowl. But Matt Stafford is now the 5th quarterback. Deshaun Jackson from Philadelphia. Now, again, this is what's sad about D-Jack. And before I continue, D-Jack screwed up big time. The man basically shot himself in the foot going to the Raiders. The problem with Deshaun Jackson that he didn't want to accept his role. D-Jack thought he was going to come onto this Ram team and automatically start over Cooper Kupp and Tyler Higbee, which is completely wrong because it's all about seniority with these teams. Yes, Deshaun Jackson is a great veteran. He's one of the fastest guys in the league. The man knows how to get open. But, again, man, if I were him, I'll just accept a veteran role. You know what I'm saying? Be a slot receiver. To be a 3 or 4. You know, you got to stand. Tyler Higbee and Cooper Kupp, they represent the team that went to Super Bowl when they had Jared Goff just 4 years ago against the Patriots. They're not going to have D-Jack come on there and start over that guy, right? That was a problem with D-Jack, man. His ego and pride is what caused him to leave, right? And then that money. They say, oh, you're not paying me enough. I want money. It's just sad, man. If I was D-Jack, I would have just stayed. And to be honest, Deshaun Jackson might not ever get another opportunity like that again. Because the Raiders are still far from reaching a Super Bowl. And you saw the way the Bengals played them. That proves it. The Raiders still need a lot of help. They already fired. They got rid of Gruden. They got to find a good head coach to turn that team around. But let me get back on track. So this is who they lost, right? So Jared Goff, again, they lost him a trade. Malcolm Brown went to Miami. That's running back Malcolm Brown, which is, again, Brian Flores has no reasons why that team should have not made the playoffs. That's why he's been fired from Miami, because they picked up Malcolm Brown from the Rams, who did really well last year. And Brian Flores did nothing with him because that man don't know how to coach no offense. Brian Flores is not a head coach. Okay? So all this discrimination and all this, the league is not hiring black coaches fairly, that's complete bullcrap and lies. The man is being used by the liberals. He's being used by George Soros to try to get one of these NFL owners out of their team. But I digress. They also lost Josh Reynolds. They received another receiver to Tennessee. Tight end Gerald Everett went to Seattle. They lost Austin Blythe to the Kansas City Chiefs. Defensive lineman Michael Brokers to Detroit. Defensive lineman Morgan Fox to Carolina. Offensive linebacker, outside linebacker Samson Ubekam to the San Francisco 49ers. That was an ex-teammate, which is another reason why the 49ers was doing so well against them. Cornerback Troy Hill went to Cleveland, and then they lost safety John Johnson III to Cleveland, and they also they lost, I think, LS. They lost another guy, Jake McQuaid, to Dallas. I think that's another safety. Right now, I'm gonna read. Now it's time to read the scouting report on the Rams. These are supposed, and this is according to Pro Football Magazine. This was the scouting report going into the season. Opposing scouts size up the Los Angeles Rams, and it says, and I quote, "What they did is so interesting with the quarterback trade. Jared Goff washes out a young guy with a lot of talent, and they bring in a better quarterback who can throw the heck out of a football. Matt Stafford has a rare ability. Their offensive line is not good. Remember, they said offensive line is not good. That's just skill. Okay? It's not acting, it's skill. Because it did say Matt Stafford has a rare ability, which he proved he does. Matt Stafford broke through. Matt Stafford just proved that he was a good quarterback on a bad team. Detroit is terrible. That's one order that needs to sell his team. It's Detroit. Now let me continue. Andrew Whitworth is old. Rob Havenstein is very technical sound, but he's not a good athlete. Stafford is a little brittle. If he keeps taking a pounding, that could be a problem, which wasn't because the Rams' offensive line held up. They have good receivers with Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. Again, Deshaun Jackson was not going to start over those guys. D-Jack can still stretch the field, which he's been traded to the Raiders. So that just went out the window. Cam Akers is a good running back. I like him, but I'm not raving about him. That's why they picked up Sony Michel. I think they might have traded for him too. But he's already on the roster. He's a solid all-around backup to Aaron Donald is from a different planet. Yeah, he's an all-around solid back. They also say Aaron Donald is from a different planet, which he is. Aaron Donald is one of the best defensive linemen in this league. Without a doubt. I think he's like top 5. Yeah, he's top 5. Ashawn Robinson is a good stay-at-home lineman. Leonard Floyd really blossomed last year. The Donald Floyd combination is so hard to stop. They can end plays. They can do it fast. They're so impactful. Which, by the way, I told y'all that was the key to stopping Brady is defense. Your linemen and linebackers able to get to the quarterback and rush him. Again, yeah, even though Brady made a comeback, they was not going to beat this Rams team. The Rams beat him up in the regular season. I told y'all that. Jalen Ramsey is such a physical, flexible corner. Jalen Ramsey, another great pickup for them last year. Now you see why they traded for Ramsey. They needed a shutdown corner. Ramsey was one of the best moves they did. Now this is Ramsey who finally has a chance to compete for a Super Bowl, which he couldn't do with the Jaguars. Which, by the way, you see how bad the Jaguars are now without Ramsey. He was pretty much the Richard Sherman of that team, like basically 5 years ago when the Patriots beat him and went to Philadelphia. Jordan Fuller, another great veteran, played better than I expected him to. It will be very interesting to see how this defense plays with Brandon Staley gone. This defense was built in his vision. And Brandon Staley's vision has finally come true. This team is right back in the Super Bowl. Now, and then one of their draft picks was Tutu Atwell, receiver 5'9". He's short, but 165 in Louisville. That was the guy they drafted. They had their draft grade was a B, according to Mel Kiper, for those that follow the draft. But let's look at what they've done in a 5-year trend. So in 2016, this team went to lost 4 games. Now, I was at that Cowboys-Rams game with my family when the Rams first moved into L.A. and they was at the USC. They was at the Trojan Stadium. They was at the Rose Bowl, and I saw that game. I actually saw Jared Goff on the bench when he wasn't even starting, and they also seen it was at Chase Keenum before he went to Minnesota. 2017, they won 11 games. 2018, they won 13 games. That was the year they went to a Super Bowl. Now, 2019, they only won 9 games. They took a step back, but That was 2 years ago, but in 2020 they won 10 and made the playoffs again. So again, like I said before, the Rams are one of the stronger teams. Like in the Final Four, like the NFC AFC Championship game from 2 weeks ago. Again, San Francisco, KC, and this team, the Rams, were the strongest teams in the last like 5 years. That team is these teams have some of the best management. Now here's some numbers to know. 30. Darrell Henderson Jr. 30.4%, and Cam Akers 37.9% were two of the only 13 running backs to face 8 or more box defenders more than 30% of the line of the time in 2020. 27.9. Opponents scored only 27.9% of drives against the Rams last year, the lowest in the NFL. 7. The Rams was the only team in 2020 to hold opposing wideouts under 10 touchdowns. Under 10 touchdown catches. 7. Okay, let me read that again. The Rams were the only team in 2020 to hold opponents wideouts under 10 touchdown catches. 7. That's not bad at all. That's actually very good. Okay. Now, we're gonna get to some good stuff here. Okay. Now I want you to pay very close attention to the screen. All right. We're gonna look at the odds here. Now, for those that want to bet, see, this is what a lot of these people like Rig NFL Breakdowns, Zachary K. Hubbard, RMG The Chosen One, Carl Bagnano, and so many others that use Gematria, they don't know how to cover spreads because they simply don't pay attention. Okay, this is why a majority of people that be losing, this is why people keep saying the league is scripted rigged, because they don't know how to bet, and they lose money. Now, here's the odds. Spreads, Rams, -4 currently. They're open -4.0, but bet was 58%. Again, people are going for the Rams because they are their favorite. They have home field advantage. Now, Cincinnati, +4.0. Current and open, +4. 42% bet. So it's pretty close. It's not all that much. Because, like I said, if you want to pull away, the Rams will be at like 80 or 90 if it was really, if they feel this, the Bengals don't have a chance. The Bengals have this percentage because they're not far off. They're only a small distance. Now, the over and under, current, 48.5. The open was 49.5. Betting percentage was 62 for the over and under. Now, the money line, okay? And again, let me say this, continue. You can't focus on Vegas. Vegas ain't responsible for if Vegas can't decide if a team wins or loses. That's on the team to decide that, okay? How people make money in Vegas, Vegas gonna give their money to the people who made the best spread. Who was the people who voted close to the spread? That's who's gonna win the money. Now, current, the Rams are -190, and they open at 190, but their bet is 72%. So again, huge margin here because of home field advantage as far as the money line. Again, everybody's going for the Rams because again, it's home field advantage. So Cincinnati is clearly underdog by far, but even though they're current +60, the reason why they're current +60 because again, these 97 teams can surprise you. The Giants have done it twice. Okay? The Cardinals almost did it against Pittsburgh, and that was a close game. But, again, they're 28%. Why? Because, again, the Rams ought to have the home field advantage. Okay, so now we're going to look at season performance. As I told you, man, look at 12-5, 6-9-1, and then 7-2 home and away. Their record versus the spread is 6-9-1, right? And then Rams are 7-2 for home and away. Bengals, they're 10-7 in regular season. Again, 9-17. They're best out of the 3 9-7 teams that went. Record versus spread, they're 9-4-2. So they're a lot better than the Rams. They cover better. So again, if the Bengals do win, if they do win tomorrow, somebody's gonna get a lot of money. They're gonna win big. And then home and away, they're 5-4 at home. And now the reason why they're saying away because the Rams are gonna be wearing white jerseys. Okay, the Bengals are technically going to be wearing they're going to wear the dark color jerseys, and the Rams will be wearing their white jerseys. Now let's look at the league rankings thus far. I told you the magazine I just got done read to you, that was before the season started. Now we're going to look at the progress. Now the Rams are both in points, both teams are equal. That lets you know this is going to be a high scoring. This might be a high scoring game, and that depends on the defense. If Joe Burrow is able to handle this Rams defense and hold his composure like he did against Kansas City, because Kansas City defense is not all that much different from the Rams. Both Rams and the Chiefs have similar defenses. I'm gonna tell you that now. The Chiefs defense is not easy at all. That team did go to 2 Super Bowls in a row. Points allowed, they're 15th. The Rams are 15th. The Bengals are 17th. So the Rams have them beat there. Total yards a game, they're 9th. Bengals are ranked at 13th. So the Rams have the advantage there. But in pass yards, 5th and 7th. So again, they're not too far off. Again, it might be a high scoring game. It might be a 20-something game. Like in between 25 to 20. The game might go to either 20 or 30 points. Who knows? It might go down there because you're going to see a lot of airing it out. Now, rush yards. This is where it gets interesting. They're 25th in the run. Bengals are 23rd. Now, Mixon, I'll give Mixon the advantage. Now, Mixon, yeah, I'll give, even though the Rams have Sony Michel, who's a veteran, he's a Tom Brady, Belichick guy. Again, Mixon is beasting, but again, he's not great. He's good, but he's not great. He's not quite a Pro Bowl running back. So that's where it gets interesting. Both teams have a problem running the football. So tomorrow night, or in the Super Bowl, that's going to show. It's going to be very interesting. The team who will probably win is the team that who actually run the football. That's what's going to come down to. It's going to come down to the running game. Who can control the clock? Now, yards allowed. The Rams are 17th and the Bengals are 18th. So again, it might just be a high scoring game. It's not going to be a defensive game at all. And then timeout differential at 13th plus 2, and then the Bengals are 16th. So as far as clock management, the Rams have them beat there. Okay, so with that being said, y'all, I'm gonna go with the Rams. I'm gonna go with the home team. Not just because I stay out here in LA, but again, I feel the Bengals can actually the Bengals might lose. The Rams can actually beat the Bengals. This is their time to actually bring one in. Because I don't know if we're going to ever get a chance to see a home team host a Super Bowl, especially in L.A. To see Brady have home field advantage last year, and then they beat Brady, and now it's their turn, I say it's the Rams' year. No, this was not scripted at all. This proves it. Because, again, this proves it wasn't scripted. Because, again, nobody saw the Bengals coming on. Everybody assumed it was going to be Tennessee, Buffalo, or Kansas City coming out that AFC. But for the Rams, again, Matt Stafford, I got nothing negative to say about him at all. The man basically proved that he's truly great. He was just wasting away on the Lions. Members, y'all, that's the video, man. Like, subscribe, comment if you feel like. I thank everybody for tuning in. And now that Brady's gone and retired, which he's going to retire, for sure he's gone. The league is definitely wide open now. This is going to be a very, the next, 5 years is going to be interesting. You're going to see a lot more matchups like this here where we're going to see teams we ain't seen either a long time or playing each other for the first time. But that's it, man.